I'm here at a media preview event for several new models from Toyota, but this one is probably the one that's going to have most people excited. It's the new Toyota LandCruiser Prado, or in this case, this one's actually a prototype, but it does mean we can have a look at the design. Just before we dive into the design, what we don't know is the pricing, the exact specifications that will be available in Australia, and the exact date that they'll go on sale. But what we do know is that this new generation Prado is now based on the same TNGA-F underpinnings as the 300 series bigger brother. That means it rides on a 2850mm wheelbase, which is 60mm longer than it was before. It's the same as the 300 series, and that means it's now longer, wider, and taller than the model it replaces. Also like the 300 series, Toyota Australia boss Sean Hanley says this new generation Prado has undergone some extreme Australian condition testing to ensure its suitability for the Australian market. In fact, he even said it's the only prototype of its kind outside of Japan. What you won't see all of them have is this bull bar and light bar, but this one's got one here as an example for something that a lot of customers will probably want to do. This one in white also means we can see a lot of the things like the plastic cladding and the side steps quite clearly, although whether all of this is what every version looks like isn't necessarily guaranteed. Again, this particular car gives you a good idea of what will be painted body and what won't be. Again, the black and white contrast is fairly strong here, but it's rugged enough that it could get some proper off-road use. And then at the back, it looks a lot more like the LandCruiser we're used to. These new versions of the taillights are kind of the same shape as the old Prado taillights we're used to, and the whole back of it kind of looks a little bit like, you know, the 300 series, but baby and more modern. I said we can't look inside, but what I can talk about is what's under here, and unfortunately for Australia, that's not the iForce Max hybrid system that they get in America. In its American spec, the iForce Max system will make 243 kilowatts and 630 newton meters. It's also a petrol system, which makes a little bit more of an option of variety for buyers. But when Sean Hanley was asked about its possibility for Australia eventually, he said it's not ruled out, it's just not part of the product plan for launch. Speaking to CarsGuide, he said that if it became appropriate to bring it to the Australian market, it's certainly something Toyota Australia would consider. Here in Australia, we'll get a version with a 48-volt assisted diesel 4 engine, similar to that in the Hilux that's coming soon as well. What we don't know yet is exact pricing and other specifications like interior mod cons, but what we do know is that Toyota has said that they're going to try their very best to make sure that a lot of these will be available when it does launch mid-year, especially if orders have already been put in, because they have even said that supply will probably not meet initial demand.